Let's put a microphone on. Good morning. Keith Hayes, Mirador Television, from the heart of Lewes on the south coast of the United Kingdom. And it's a beautiful morning, just quite stunning. And at the risk of burning out lens, perhaps you can see the sun has just come up over the South Downs, casting beautiful glow on this very historic town. It's 6:15. Still not too many people around, although if I come up here at 6:15 in the middle of the winter, apart from the dark, you'll see almost nobody. And it's an interesting town. It's a beautiful high street, and just give you a little scan around so you can see just how lovely it is, and is reflecting in the glow of this morning sun. So, if you're an early riser, get out there. You can enjoy beautiful, beautiful morning on the south coast of England. For those of you who are just going to bed in Canada, on the west coast, 10 o'clock at night, perhaps what you'll have in the morning is a similar situation. You can go out onto those lovely coastlines that you have, particularly in Victoria in British Columbia. Go down and perhaps scoot around the coast in those lovely little banana boats. Anyway, my descriptive powers aren't good enough to tell you just how beautiful British Columbia is, but I can show you here just how beautiful Lewes is, and I'm very happy to say that that is the best part of what we've got, because we got a council who met the other evening. I did a live report, as you saw, or some of you who tapped in saw, and they are in a complete and utter mess. Here's headquarters. This is what happens in Lewes. But they hadn't thought out any sort of strategy. They handed the key job to a Tory, who then promptly managed to appoint 4 other Tories to this cabinet system, and it's iniquitous. Now, I did ask for some expert analysis afterwards, and I got several good things that people are trying to do at that council. The trouble is that basically most of them are Muppets. Most of them are just simply sitting there and putting up their hands. And what I had hoped that I would see is a good, robust debate, because by golly, on the internet, on the social chatter platforms, there is lots of robust debate. Much of it ill-informed, much of it selfish, much of it about me. Well, you might say, come on, Keith, that's exactly what you do each morning. You're absolutely right. I hope that I do it from a reasonably informed position. I hope I do it after a lifetime of 50 or 60 years, I've lost count, in journalism, that I do it with a certain amount of skill and ability in my background. But there is no debate in our council chambers. They pull a string and up go the hands. What happened to the robust exchange of views that we've become famous for in this country? It's disappeared. And I wonder whether what we're doing is we're seeing a generational thing. Ha ha ha! Here it comes. The old fart is going to get cracking on age and youth and so on. Well, yeah, I am to some extent. It's easy for people to criticise people of my age and my generation for criticising younger people. It's age old. It's been done for centuries. But the fact of the matter is you've got to understand is that we do have a legitimate point of view, and that there are more of us now than there have ever been. So therefore, we need to be able to have a say in some of these things. Our views should be taken into account. And instead, what we've got is a lot of people who really don't have much ability other than that they get angry. Well, I've been an angry young man, I've been an angry intermediate man, and I'm now an angry old man. Perhaps you wouldn't believe it from the look of me. I don't look as if I could say boo to a goose, do I? but the fact of the matter is we seem to be lacking honest debate, structured debate, good, positive, critical debate in this country. And it's sad. I was talking to somebody not too long ago who said, you know, the golden age of journalism was really the 30s and the 40s in this country, when the intellectual elite, if you like, managed to get into journalism, and although they quickly left it and went and wrote novels and so on and so forth, and anyway, I don't pay too much store to the intellectual elite. Got a lovely big, let me show you the sort of thing that, those are the sort of people that run around the garbage collectors. But to carry on, I don't hold any brief for the intellectual elite any more than I do from those people who are good, solid people on the ground. But the trouble is that we just poo-poo everything. Nobody really gets involved constructively in debate. Now, I'll hand this to Mick Symes. At Lewis present, he's certainly got a good, robust debate going. Well, I must say I took objection to a couple of things there, but then again, I didn't respond, and why should I? If I'm actually accusing people of being nonsensical, there's no sense in being nonsensical myself. I can do that on my own Mirador television show at this hour of the morning. The fact of the matter is we really have got to start to get to grips with the fact that good, robust debate and good critical comment has got to go right across the board. It's got to go right across our society. And it doesn't. We've got into isms and ratios and so on. No wonder our government, our members of parliament, are in such disarray. And it was reflected at the council the other night. By the time they'd finished, they all decided that they disagreed with their own point of view, or with their political party's point of view. So what they did was they shot themselves in the foot, all of them. It's crazy to see. And why is it happening? Is it because the level of people going into politics now, local or national, is at a low ebb? Is it because we just are in an age when we've been teaching our kids in school that it doesn't matter who wins the egg and spoon race, everybody's a winner? I don't know. All I find is it's terribly confusing. Right, you can say. Look at his age. He's bound to be confused. Yes, indeed. I am confused. The only thing is that I find people right across the board confused. No matter what their age, whatever their sex, their gender, their colour, their ethnicity, their whatever, people are confused. What the hell is going on? And whether it's the local council or whether it's the chamber in Westminster, it is not giving us a lot of confidence that things are being sorted out. The other thing that I got really upset at is people will spout about fake news and law and order and so on and so forth. Right. How many people have actually been in the United States when Donald Trump has been on the hustings? How many people have actually seen American politics in action? There'll be few, but not many. And yet everybody feels that they can demonstrate against Donald Trump coming here. Well, demonstrate against Donald Trump, but wait until he's Donald Trump again, not the President of the United States. That is a post, a position, and protocol demands that we give it due deference and due reverence, and we're not. Oh, that's okay. No. We don't like this man very much, so therefore what we'll do is we'll rubbish the post of the position of the President of the United States. We'll wait until the worm turns and people start to rubbish our own Queen, our own royal family, who, whether you're a royalist or not, are the head of state. We don't like it very much when we get rubbished, because when they rubbish the head of state, you rubbish the people. In the long run, Donald Trump was put into office by millions and millions of Americans, and there are still millions and millions of Americans that think he's a good president. So that's easy, isn't it? Oh, who am I? That's rubbish. Let's rubbish the post of President of the United States because we good old Brits who've never been in America, well, I have, luckily. I mean, I've been in 60 different countries in the world. I've seen things in various parts of the world that I don't particularly like, and I'm able to draw on those to be critical of some things, whereas many of our people are getting like the Americans. They squeal about not being able to go into the EU, but do they travel? No. Do they bother to study other cultures? No. No, it's too easy to pick up a phone now, switch it on the way I have, and just be critical of absolutely damn everything, without any evidence, without any experience. Well, good. Use it for debate, but constructive debate. If you want to say the President of the United States should not come to this country, explain why the President of the United States should not come to this country. Not because he's Donald Trump. That's no argument at all. I mean, it's a specious argument. It's silly. It's nonsense. And the trouble is that we seem to be using this to spew out some of the silliest nonsense that I've heard, and it comes from so-called sensible people. And I go back to media, because the fact is, incidentally, job losses in media are gaining momentum. More and more people are losing their jobs in media. It's a shrinking industry. And as a consequence, as the Harvard University Review points out, the less local media you have, the more inefficient counsel you have. And you also have higher taxes. Well, that's exactly what we've got in Lewis. Hopefully we can do something about it. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes somebody like myself and a few other colleagues who don't mind being rubbished. You do your damnedest. I'm so old, and I've been around, and I have confidence in what I do and what I say, to the point where we don't really worry too much. You can rubbish us all you want. We try to use our skills, and there's a pal just gone by. He'll serve me coffee in a minute. But we do try very hard to bring some sort of semblance of very close local media to local government. Well, people get turned around and say, well, you're not very good at it. Well, our council isn't very good at politics. Certainly doesn't believe in debate, from everything that I can see. And that goes to the people in Westminster too. So if we're bad, so are they. Perhaps jointly we might be able to do something about it. But as long as councils and governments remain covert in nature, it's up to us to try and spill the beans. A lot of good comment about what happened on Monday night. But it comes from experts in the field and people who have got a good journalistic instinct and are using social media properly and being positively critical about what's happening and what should happen. That was a good rant, wasn't it? Enjoyed that. Okay, see you tomorrow. Toodle pip.